Only 4% of family companies ever reach a fourth generation. Curley Adjustment Bureau did it during wars, recessions, and more than 300 named storms. In this video, Frank Marks from the IA firm Curley Adjustment Bureau explains the hiring rule that doubled their territory, the near fatal moment when 65% of their revenue vanished, and why female adjusters secretly outperform the guys on file discipline. I'm Matt, 20-year catastrophe adjuster, Xactimate certified trainer, and founder of Adjuster TV. So let's step into the principles that have kept this firm alive since 1933, starting now. This video is sponsored in part by Verisk, the makers of Xactimate X1 and Xactimate Mobile. Show the IA firms and carriers that you've got the chops to write high-quality estimates fast by getting your Level 2 user certification at verisk.com/exactware-store right now.
We look at our employees as family and treat them that way. And we've been very fortunate. We've had thousands of employees over the years. When you think we're in business 92 years, and I'm not aware of anyone else who's been in business longer. And I'm told getting into the fourth generation is like 4% of companies are able to do that. And we've successfully done that because we've kept our people. And that's the amazing thing. We have 24 adjusters now. Some of them with the company 25, 30 years. We've had probably 10, 12 people in our history that were with us 50 years. And our chairman of the board who retired a number of years ago was with us 60 years. And I don't think anybody's going to break that record. But I think
Wow.
it's the way you hire good people and you treat them properly. And we've been very fortunate that way. We have a mix of female and male adjusters. And I tell people I love the female adjusters because on whole, they're much more responsive, reporting wise. I mean, there are exceptions to that rule, but I just think they approach this job with even more heart than the men do, which is a really good thing.
Being a great adjuster isn't just about policy and software. You got to know the difference between hail damage and worn-out shingles. Hague has the gold standard books and certifications to back you up in the field or at the desk. Scan the QR code or hit hagueeducation.com and use Adjuster TV for a discount and level up with Hague. So speaking of hiring, so you have 24 adjusters on your roster. Do you have plans to expand, or are you always looking for new folks? And if so, for adjusters, maybe newer adjusters or even experienced adjusters.
The way we approach our business, most of our adjusters are full-time, but not all of them are full-time. The best way of putting it is we're 5 states. We're a regional company. We have no desire to be a national company. And we are always, Matt, looking for adjusters. A day does not go by that we don't look for adjusters because you never know when you can find somebody special for your company. And what we found is when we add adjusters in an area that is marginal, that we're not real busy, if we hire a good person, that area grows. And that's been a really good thing. And we tell them that if you do a good job, you're going to see more and more claims. And that's what's happened. We've been a blessed company in a lot of ways. Matt, back in the 60s, 65% of our business came from one company. It's just the way the company grew. We latched on, or Geico latched on to us, and they would say, we want you to open an office here and here and here. And they helped our company grow. But when you have one company that's 65% of your business, that's also a big danger signal. And they gave us notice about a year before they decided to pull out of New Jersey. And that was one of our biggest areas for them. We had 32 employees in one office in New Jersey. They gave us a year's notice that they're pulling out. And we were able to recover and survive that shift in business. And now we have like 300 clients. Some of us give us 1 or 2 claims a year, and some give us hundreds of claims. But we're well spread. We learned our lesson almost the hard way, but we survived it. And I've seen a lot of other independents that never did survive that unfortunately had one really good client who, from no fault of their own, the client decided either they were acquired or they decided to go in a different direction. And all of a sudden that volume of business that you were counting on isn't there.
All right, if you're making real money as an adjuster, don't leave your career exposed. Errors and omissions and general liability insurance from Caplick is designed just for you, and it might even be cheaper than what you're already paying. Snap this QR code right here or visit cplic.net/adjustertv to grab the free guide and lock in smarter protection today. Yep, that happened to me. As an independent adjuster, just working for a firm, I had kind of gotten locked into working for the same carrier and they kept me busy for like 14 years. And then I went on a storm in Omaha, and Omaha, I don't know if you had ever worked there, but that part of the country gets huge hail. It's a lot. It's like bedroom communities for miles and miles and miles. So it's just endless roofs, right? And as a catastrophe adjuster, it was like they called me to go to Omaha, and I'm walking out the door before I get off the phone with them. And I got my usual 40 claims. I think 5 or 6 days to do those. It's super easy. And usually you'd start getting new claims like, 3 or 4 days in, because you're turning them over. And having 14 years of experience with the same company, I know their system like backwards and forwards. And then not getting any new claims. And then get an email from our manager saying, all right, well, just wanted to say thanks to everybody for coming on out. And, they're letting us go. They're going to go ahead and take this one over. And I was like, we just got here. Normally I'm like 4 months in Omaha, right? And they had the carrier had decided that they want to build out their own cat team, and they wanted to take over all that stuff and send us packing. And so I was like, so at the beginning of the summer, I'm like, that was going to be my summer,
Right.
was, that storm or a couple of storms like that. So diversifying is absolutely, 100%. You guys, if you find somebody who's new to this industry and has got some good licenses, has licenses in the areas where you guys operate, and has training, do they have a good shot of getting on your roster? And if so, kind of what does that look like?
Yes, absolutely. If you have someone, we obviously we're looking for people with experience. It's been hard to find adjusters, Matt, as you well know. And what we found lately, the last number of years, is we've picked up a number of senior adjusters who worked for carriers for 25, 30 years and kind of were done with it. And they wanted to cut back somewhat, but they still wanted to be involved. And they brought all kinds of experience with them, which is tremendous. So we tell our people, there's not a claim that someone on our staff has not seen and handled. So even the most unusual
Sure.
one, because we have that kind of experience. If we added up the experience of those 24 adjusters, you're talking, 700, 800 years. I mean, you're talking a lot of years. The average adjuster
Right.
we have is over 30 years, which is a great thing, Matt. But also it's a danger signal, because that's why we're always looking for new adjusters, because there's some great people we have that we know in 5 years from now they're going to be gone. They're going to be retired.
Right, yeah. In your opinion, in your experience in this industry, you just said that it's hard to find adjusters, that and I agree with you, but that kind of contradicts what you see on social media or on forums or whatever, where they say that the industry is saturated and all this kind of stuff. What's that disconnect, and what do you think
Yeah.
is the kind of the root cause
Everyone
of that?
I talk to, Matt, and including the carriers, tell us that they're looking for people that it is not saturated, and I don't think it's saturated in any way, shape, or form. The problem we have, and it's a great industry, but from a young person's perspective, we're not a sexy industry. We were doing well until the .com industry came along, and then everyone said, "What the heck? Why would you want to work for an insurance company when you can make so much money in this .com industry?" And that really kind of hurt us a little bit. A lot of the clients we work for have examiners. Let's just say the company's in Ohio, or Florida. We're dealing with their examiners who are giving these cases to us all over the country, because that concept has totally changed. They can't get enough people in their home office in Miami, so they're willing to accept someone who's going to work for them out of Massachusetts or Maine. And unfortunately, with IT today, you can do that, and that's a really good thing about our industry.
Close a claim on Monday. By Friday, Officer Friendly is at your doorstep with a smile and a summons. Your name sits right under the carriers in a bad faith lawsuit. Bust out your checkbook because your entire season's earning can vanish in a blink. Not only that, but the carrier might not even be required to defend you. There's an adjuster-only liability shield plus a 2-item coverage checklist that plugs that hole before the next storm rolls in. You can check it out right here. And as always, thank you so much for watching and have a great storm.